My friends over at The Splendid Word, who sit behind the Spreading the Good Stuff podcast and movement, posted a quote the other day that said, "We can do hard things." And I don't think there's a truer word spoken. Certainly in the work that I do around the brain and the body, I know that as humans we have unlimited potential. I also can look back in time and see that when our backs are against the wall, we are so resourceful, so resilient to get up and over and through whatever challenge sits in front of us. But I also am acutely aware that for many people out there, it does not feel like we have the energy or the capacity or the resources or the resilience to keep stepping through it, to keep showing up. And so whilst we've never had the luxury of controlling external circumstances, and I have felt that financially, certainly when the 2008 GFC hit and all our finances were stripped away and we were left with one hell of a debt, and we have spent the last 10 years digging out of that hole. I know what it feels like when a curveball comes sideways, when you've worked really hard to get somewhere and then it just gets stripped away. I get it. But there are some things in it that we can do so that we understand that our life matters and that we have the resilience and the resources to keep moving forward. And that is all that all of us can do each day, to show up our absolute best. And so what I would love for you to take away is 5 key steps, things that you can start to bring into your life. And the very first one is to protect your energy. Protect it like mad. It is what gets us through the day. We know that quite simply, if we don't get enough sleep, we wake up and we are less optimistic. And when we are less optimistic, we are unable to see the best choices in front of us. But energy doesn't just come from sleep. It doesn't just come from food. It is a stacking game. And so it is time for us to all look at our lives and look at our behaviors and our thinking that have stacked together to give us either an energetic profile or not. So I would ask you to start to question, particularly even over the last 3 months, have you been protecting your physical energy through the foods that you eat? Or have we been overindulging in alcohol, in sugar? Have we been overindulging and binging on Netflix instead of putting some really good quality things into our brains? Have we been rolling over and hitting snooze each day because perhaps we haven't had to get up and do as much in the day? And yet by doing so, we become, as a stacking game, become less and less motivated each day because we're missing a sense of purpose and meaning in our day. We all choose day to day little things that stack together. And so what I would love for you to do is really pay attention to how can you raise your energetic profile through the foods that you eat, through the recovery practices that you have, through the emotional practices, mental practices that we can bring into our days to raise energy, through the people we surround ourselves with, through the things that we do of purpose. And that may just mean for some of us, we're getting up in the day and having this sense of service to somebody else, an act of kindness to somebody else. There are simple things we can do each day to raise our energy. So please protect it. Energy is one. The second thing is we bring clarity to what is truly important, not the crappy societal values that we've all identified with, the stuff that we've got, the businesses that we have. Those things aren't our identity. Who we show up as every single day is who we are. And so it is time to get back and start to balance those success goals with those eulogy virtues and start to question, who do I want to be? What is important to me? And start to bring clarity back to that so that you can pull out the thinking and the behaviors that are needed to support that. It may also be around bringing clarity back to all the areas of life that give you your experience of life. We're very often over-identified with one or two areas. It may be our business, it may be our finances. And so it may be time to broaden that focus and start to get a new vision of what that may look like. For some people that are in a real hole right now, possibly in a state of depression. That future focus is difficult to get. That part of the brain that allows us to future focus and come up with solutions is usually offline. And so if this is you, then seek help. Seek guidance for someone to be able to help you to draw that out of you and to create a new vision for what it looks like, at least for today, for tomorrow, for the next month. And it is a stacking game of that too. So we have energy and clarity. Then we need to bring our focus and attention onto more hopeful things. That may mean cutting back what we're listening to. It may be transitioning from listening to or looking at social media to listening to some really great podcasts. We have so many opportunities to put good content into our brain to shift our focus and attention from fear to hope and possibility. We can also shift our focus momentarily through the day on the things that are good by raising our gratitude, raising our skill of optimism, which is simply a skill to learn, so that the brain can literally see more opportunities to move in a positive direction. So focus and attention is important. Where are we focusing all our attention right now? Is it on the positive? Is it on the negative? And just trying to reduce the frequency of the negative. The fourth thing is around discipline. We are all disciplined, but it depends on what we've become disciplined in. Some of us have become disciplined in letting ourselves down, letting ourselves off the hook. Society gives us loads of tools to distract ourselves, to avoid discomfort. So right now, I would ask that we become more disciplined in feeling discomfort, in becoming and doing the work around emotional intelligence so that we can understand what is happening moment to moment. Then we can become disciplined in our actions, our thoughts and our thinking that will support a positive experience of life, rather than becoming disciplined in distraction, in busyness, in numbing behaviors, in technology, all of those things that are creating a discipline of victim mode. So it is energy, clarity on what's important, focusing our attention on and energy onto the things that are good in our life and that can support our energy. Then also bringing some good disciplined behaviors to our day rather than letting ourselves off the hook. And finally is around connection. Loneliness is a real concern these days, and so get in some spaces, whether they're online communities or if you can do it locally. Surround yourself with people. It is vital. None of this is easy, but we can do hard things. Take care and be well.